Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Good morning, my kids. Welcome back to Amjad Qurtuba International Schools. So today we're going to have a reading lesson with grade 5. For that, please take your books. Page 377. I have already taken my book. So please, I'm going to give you 3 seconds. 1, 2, 3. Take your books, please. Okay. Now I'm sure that you have taken your books. What can you tell me about page 377, King Midas and the Golden Touch? Do you have any idea about this story? It's a famous myth, and a myth is a story told from generation to generation. It's not a real story, but by the end of this story there is something that we learn. We can withdraw a wisdom, for example, we can withdraw a proverb about something, and that's what we're going to learn in this story. So King Midas and the Golden Touch, it's a myth, and let's read what's written about myths here. Are tales, which means stories, handed down by word of mouth for generations. So it's orally, it is told orally. Okay, they tell about nature and human behavior. As you read, notice that the author points out how the king's behavior leads to a tragedy, which means that we're going to meet some tragedy here. Okay, then let's move on. Let me use the full screen. Why am I here? I want to go to the first one. Yes. Make your brain work like a train. And the first question, God willing. Pages 377, 378, 79, and 380. Do you think that King Midas really existed? I have already answered that. No, he didn't. It's a myth. It's an imaginary story. Try to guess, how would King Midas use the Golden Touch? Because the title says King Midas and the Golden Touch. Golden Touch. Does he have some magic? Maybe, we don't know. Try to guess. If you want to send me your answer, no problem. Send it to me. 3. Did you read a myth before? Name it. Most of you are going to say no, I didn't, but all of you have read myths before, or you have watched a movie about a myth. For instance, did you watch Aladdin, the last movie? That's a myth. Okay, let's move on. Next page, please. The cake question. How can you describe the king portrait? Page 376. Go back to page 376. There is a king there with his, I don't know, with his whom. There is a king. How can you describe him? He is wealthy. He is wearing a lot of gold. Okay, he is handsome. Okay, he is kind, looking at his girl in a kind way. Maybe we can describe him this way. How can you describe the girl portrayed with the king? She is so nice. She is wealthy too. Maybe she's his daughter. She is a princess. Can you guess what is the relationship between the king and the girl? Maybe she is the princess. And there is something special about the girl. You can see that the king is overwhelmed with gold. Okay, but there is something special about her, that she is holding a rose or a flower, and there is something special about him, that he is paying attention to her, as if she is the only thing that interests him more than his kingdom and his wealth and money. Okay. How can you describe the clothes of the king? Extravagant, which means, oh my God, a lot of gold, a lot of jewelry, a lot of money, a lot of wealth. Okay, I can describe it this way. Let's move on. Those are cake questions, the easy questions. The trick question, you should climb to answer it. Take your books, page 378. I'm going to take mine. Page 378. If you haven't read it, read it again, please. Okay, name the characters of the story. Of course, we have here King Midas and his daughter Aurelia. Okay, The princess is Aurelia. Here we can discover, if you have read this, that this is his daughter Aurelia, and in this page the characters here we have discovered until here, the poor man they're going to find, and we're going to talk about him, and the guards. We don't have ministers, we don't have anything else. We have King Midas, we have his daughter, we have the guards who found the poor man, and we found, or we have the poor man himself. Those are the characters. What did the king believe? Okay, if you have read the story, you will find out that the king believes that there is nothing more important than gold, than money. He says here, when he's comparing money to a flower, the flower, of course, the flowers, their beauty lasts but a day. If they were gold, it would last forever. So he wants the beauty of gold and of wealth, of course. He believed that gold is the most important thing in the world. What did he used to love? Okay, he used to love something else. Yes, he used to love flowers and gardens and nature. And for instance, look here, there had been a time, however, when King Midas loved roses as much as he now loves or loved gold. He had once called together the best gardeners in his realm, in his kingdom, and the garden they created for him because renowned for the beauty and variety of its roses. So once upon a time he loved gardens, nature, and roses. Who is the only person he loved more than gold? Aurelia, of course. He loved Aurelia, his daughter, his own daughter, more than gold. We can say so, okay? And I respect him for that, but he's going to hurt her. And you're going to see. Who is the one who still loved gardens? There is someone who still loved gardens. Aurelia, yes, she still loves gardens, and she is always like taking roses to her father. Next page. Go on. Leaves question. Who is the person the guards found under the rose bushes? It was that poor man. For instance, when I have read this story before, I have discovered that this king has some kindness in his heart through this act. So they found what? They found the man, the poor man, an old man, sleeping under the bush, under the rose bushes in the king's garden, and logically, I thought that they're going to punish him, but they did not, because what did the king order them to do? Because the king ordered them not to do so, to bring him to his table and to let him have dinner with him, which is something I cannot understand. What do you think of the king's personality after this act? Well, I think that he is generous, kind, a good king, a good person, and he is very, very, very like humble to accept someone like this in his castle. Okay, is it reasonable for the king to invite such a poor person to his table? No, it's not logical. It's not reasonable at all. But we're going to see that this person is going to play another role in our story, which is an important role. For that, please, we have a lot of illustration in this story. For instance, the last page of today, we have finished with the critical questions. Today's lesson was to introduce the story to you. Page 379, you're going to find an illustration of the king, and he is the one entertaining the man with music. And even they have written this, he was the one to entertain the poor man. That's why I think that that man is going to reward him. See you next time. Thank you so much for your attention. See you, my kids. Goodbye.